I'd like to introduce myself. I've been in the disaster business now for over 30 years. I have been at floods like yours many times. I've waded in the water, had to work hands-on pulling things out of the mud. I understand your problems, and I understand that you're frustrated because you can't get the questions answered that you need in order for you to recover and rebuild from your flood. I've written 11 books, I've done seminars, I've helped more people than I can add up and put on this afternoon. But let's talk a little bit about your flood and see if I can be of help. I know the adjuster's been to your house in most cases. I know that you've done your tear out. But this is where it really starts getting serious. If you had 2 inches of water in your house, that is one problem. And it all starts with cutting of the sheetrock. At 2 inches of water, they're probably going to drill holes in the bottom of your sheetrock and let it dry out and air out. I don't accept that. I want the sheetrock cut at least 2 foot so I can get to the back side of it. I can put a mildewcide on it. I can clean out the cavities. I can replace the insulation. And then you won't have future problems with little things like mold. If it's like 2 foot of water or more, then they normally cut the sheetrock at 4 foot. You go through the same procedure. But it's very important that you know the cutting of your sheetrock. Then you go from then into that. That makes a big difference on electrical. Your electrical plugs. Were they in the water or were they out of the water? If they were in the water, you have to replace them. Not just one, but all of them. Because the danger afterwards is tremendous. Another area that people seem to skip by on quite regular is the flooring. You have to remove the flooring. Most of the time, even with 2 inches of water, you need to remove your flooring because of the debris and the foreign things that are in the flood water that you don't see, and when the flood water leaves, they're left behind for you to deal with a year or 2 later. Now, another big area we need to talk about a little bit is your flood adjuster. He has probably already been there. If he hasn't, get on the phone and find out why or when he's coming. You will find out when he was there, he probably didn't stay very long. He took some pictures, some measurements, did a scope, and then he left and gave you the promise that he would be back with you soon with your estimate on what they were going to pay. When he got to the door, he probably handed you a content list to fill out. I'm not going to talk contents right now because that's a separate issue. But if the adjuster's been gone for a week and you've not heard anything, please call him. Be very nice and polite, but tell him you need an update on your claim. If he's asked for any paperwork, get up out of your chair and go get it to him right now, because your claim's going to sit in the pile until he gets everything he wants. Let's talk a little bit more about your adjuster. Let's go into the estimating of the cost of damages. As I told you earlier, and which you have probably already seen, he's not going to be there very long. He does most of his work back at his office or his motel room. But whatever he got at your house for information is what he's going to punch in his computer, and that is going to come out as your cost estimate and what they're willing to pay for your claim. Stop. Inform him of all the things that he missed. Stop. Go get documentation if need be. Send him a picture. Talk to him on the phone. But be sure he's included everything that you feel he should pay for. And don't wait to tell him this until he's already wrote you a check. Mortgage company. Has anyone told you that the mortgage company will have their name on your check if you have a mortgage? Now, this is on the structure only. It will not be on the contents. But the problem with the mortgage company's name on your check is it's not going to get cashed easily. The mortgage company is not going to send it right back to you. They're going to divide it up in what's called draws. Most of the time there's 3 draws. You can get a draw when you start the work, and then when you got so much work done, you get draw 2, but you have to call them, fill out the right paperwork, and then get an inspection. Then at the end, you can get draw 3 of the balance, but you have to do the same thing. So don't be shocked when you get your check and find out your mortgage company's name is on it. There isn't anything you can do about it. It's in policy. Another area bouncing around and skipping around, as you've probably already heard, is on your kitchen cabinets. Flood only pays for the base cabinets. They will remove them and replace them, but they will not do the uppers. Matching of cabinets is not part of flood policy, but you do need to pull your cabinets most of the time, because if there was any water in your house, it would have went under the cabinets, and when it drains off, you are left with the mud and debris that it brought in with it. And I don't know of any other way to clean them unless you remove them. Your flood estimate. Very few people understand how to read an estimate. Even most contractors don't put it in detail enough for you to understand it. But please, when you get your estimate, spend a little time looking it over. It should be line items. Line 1, 2, 3, maybe 400 line items. Each line will say remove, or replace, or reset, repair. It'll go by the lineal footage for something like a piece of baseboard. It'll go by the square footage for something like sheetrock. But you should be able to identify every piece of your house that they're going to pay you for. So read it very careful. If you don't understand it or have a question, I will gladly review it at no cost or no obligation. And then I can give you some advice on it's fair or it's not fair. Most of the time, there's several items left out that are pretty easy to find, and I'm sure you're going to find a couple of them when you read it. And the same thing with your contractors. You've got to have detailed estimates. You can't just say fix the door, because some doors cost $300, some doors cost $1,600. So please, start now getting estimates that are detailed. Thank you, and again, call me. As I had said earlier, I have been to floods. I've been to Alicia. I've been to so many names I can give you, and several of them in Houston just like yours. I am local. I live in the area. I've been here for 30 plus years. I would like to help you a little further, and I will gladly for free answer any of your questions that you have about your flood problems. All you have to do is call me at 409-986-6221, or you can email me, stanmiller.sr@yahoo.com. The advice is free, and I want to help. Please call. Thank you.